I'm asking for an audit for everybody participating in the Citizens' new depopulation program because I don't want history to repeat itself. If you look at the 2004-2005 storm season, there was a company named Poe out of Tampa, which took out 248,000 policies. That company, as soon as the first hurricane hit, went belly up. However, millions of dollars were never recuperated that were given to Poe. So I don't want this new loan program to fall under the same history, which basically is no control, no accountability, no callback provisions, and again, if there's no accountability, then why are we doing this program?
Why are you saying that there is no accountability?
There's no accountability because if you look at the companies that are been approved for this program, none of them are AM Best rated. AM Best rated is basically the Cadillac of rating systems for insurance companies. Not one of them is AM Best rated. At best, one of which I think is a D-rated company. So we're prepared to give $350 million for 300,000 of the best Citizens policies, which in my opinion is absurd because we already have a depopulation program that's going to get rid of 350,000 policies for free. If I'm going to pay you to take policies out of Citizens, then I expect you to take the worst policies out of Citizens, which is the bottom 25%. So if we tell all these people that yes, we're going to pay you, but it's going to be for the bottom 25%, not one of them is going to say yes. Not one of those people. So what they're doing is that they understand the mathematics. They're getting a $350 million low interest loan. They're taking in about $400 million in premiums. And if the first hurricane hits, the loan is forgiven. Wow, they just hit the lottery. So why are we as the state of Florida or the Board of Citizens paying for these policies, which they were going to be taken out anyways with the current depopulation program? The current depopulation program passed last year, which removed the 16% seed requirement, which basically means more people are interested in coming in and taking these policies because they're favorable policies. So instead of doing that, we have now given or about to give $350 million to a private company which is not rated. And that's the problem.
Who person or who companies or who is behind this move?
Well, I believe that one company in particular, Tower Hill, has 3 subsidiaries. Each of the 3 subsidiaries is going to get $50 million, which is $150 million for one company. So if you have a parent company with 3 subsidiaries, you're going to get $50 million per company. The problem that I have is that there was another company called Tradewinds that was going to do it at 50% of the cost, and they were excluded from the process. And the funny part is that Citizens staffers excluded them from the process. It was an Office of Insurance Regulation, another violation of statute where they are interpreting saying that they have the authority to do so, which they really do not.
But they answered to your request.
They have not responded to my last request. I still have a request from Citizens over a year ago. And that is one of the biggest problems that I've had. I've spoken to Barry Gilway, I've spoken to Chairman Carlo Lacasa and their spokesperson. And Citizens does not answer to anyone. It doesn't answer to the legislature, it doesn't answer to the Senate, and the only person it answers to is the governor. However, the issue that we have is that unless we have communication, we're going to have processes similar to this, where in June, when they said that they had it open to the public, only insurance executives attended. And by the way, it was done in Tampa instead of Miami-Dade County or even the Tri-County area, which holds about 700,000 policies of Citizens. Instead, it was done in Tampa, which I find ridiculous. With that said, I believe that Citizens needs to be accountable. And if you look at the Citizens statute and preamble, they don't have the authority to do this. I think it's very funny that the same exact law died in the Florida House floor, and yet the board is now passing it, circumventing the legislature. So it's a lot easier to pass a administrative law and or a program that is elected by, voted on by 5 people instead of 160. And that's the problem that I have, is that the board has expanded its powers. They're not accountable to anybody. And with that said, I'm going to make it very clear that anybody who's responsible for this depopulation program will be audited, including their emails, including their logs. I want to know who they talk to, when they talk to, because this is very important. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
What would you say to someone thinking why I have to pay more insurance in my policy because there is someone else constructing or building a house in the beach?
Okay, that's a great question, and this is what I've said before. This is the typical type of marketing and type of press that is called divide and conquer. If you believe that in Miami-Dade County that you're subsidizing someone in the beach, you're sadly mistaken. The reality is that Monroe County, Dade County, Broward County, and West Palm Beach have the highest rates in the state of Florida. Then you have Orlando and Tampa, which also have sinkholes and other issues that are in play. If you believe that Miami-Dade County is subsidized by other counties up north, then let's do simple math. If a house up in the Panhandle area and Central Florida is worth $150,000 in premium, they pay about $1,000 to $1,500 a year in insurance. The same exact house, three bedroom, two bathroom in Miami-Dade County, the average is about $275,000, even with the economy the way it is. So if now I'm insured for $250,000 or $275,000, I'm literally $100,000 to $150,000 more than the person up north. Yet I'm paying 4 times the amount that he pays. Why is that? Because we have an area which insurance companies do not want to come into because of high population, high density, and risk versus reward. I understand that. But for someone up north to tell me and or anyone that they're subsidizing Miami-Dade County is absolute false. And I've proven that with Senator Oscar Brannen in our roundtable in FIU, where we clearly establish that the north has been hit with more hurricanes than the south has. That's first and foremost. Second of all, if a hurricane were to hit, for example, Central Florida, and have $20 billion of damage, who do you think is going to pay most of the assessments or the emergency assessments or actually the assessments levied by the state of Florida? It's going to be South Florida. Why? Because the assessment on 3% of a $100,000 house that's up north is not the same as a 3% assessment on a $275,000 house. So we as a collective, because of population and cost of our homes, will be paying a lot more money than those up north. So I've already explained that that's a fallacy. That's a divide and conquer type of mentality where they're trying to separate the north from the south. And the reality is if we're going to separate the north from the south, not a problem. Make sure that my taxes are kept in South Florida because we pay the most amount of taxes in dock stamps. We have the most amount of tourism and we have the most amount of money generated for the state of Florida. So if you're going to take my tax dollars, then make sure that they come back to my county.
What do you think is going to happen on Thursday?
I think Thursday we're going to see what the history, and I think there's an article today that came out in President Barry Gilway, which he says that the only way to get rid of citizens is to increase rates. The issue that we have with that is that you'll never get rid of citizens because citizens is the insured of last resort. And second of all, if no insurance company is writing in the Tri-County area because of risk versus reward, then how come you keep on increasing our premiums on the backs of the voters and the backs of the Floridians that live in South Florida, who, by the way, pay the most taxes? And furthermore, the last idea that they had, which was to limit water losses to $15,000, was illegal because Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac does not allow that limit to water damage and or to the insurance policies. So we have a lot of things that Citizens is doing that's contrary to the best interests of not only South Florida, but doesn't make any sense. And that's where I want for an audit, not only of Citizens people, but also anybody involved with the depopulation program.